All right, so today we are reading chapter 4 of The 100 Dresses. So this is a very short chapter, but I'm still going to read it to you since it's still our first novel, and there are some words in this novel that you all might not know yet. And then we're going to discuss our question page for the day, and then you're going to need to do that on your own and turn it in. So let's go ahead and get started. You should be on page 34, and it should look like this. Okay. The contest. So, let's start. The contest. Now today, even though she and Peggy had been late to school, Maddie was glad that she had not had to make fun of Wanda. She worked on her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly 8 times 8. Let's see. Nothing she could do about making fun of Wanda. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy a note because she knew she'd never have the courage to speak right out to Peggy to say, "Hey, Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly, she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, the new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress she had on, and Maddie would have to say that it was one of Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings so that no one in room 13 would recognize it. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well, Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore the note she had just started into bits. She was Peggy's best friend, and Peggy was the best-liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Boggins Heights and stood alone in the schoolyard. Nobody in the room thought about Wanda at all except when it was her turn to stand up for oral reading. Then they all hoped she would hurry up and finish and sit down because it took her forever to read a paragraph. Sometimes she stood up and just looked at her book and couldn't or wouldn't read at all. The teacher tried to help her, but she'd just stand there until the teacher told her to sit down. Was she dumb or what? Maybe she was just timid. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of the dresses, a pale blue one with Sears-colored trimmings. And she remembered another that was brilliant, with a brilliant jungle green with a red sash. "You'd look like a Christmas tree in that," the girls had said in pretended admiration. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet made Maddie begin to wonder who was going to win the drawing and colored contest. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing motor boats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. You should see the way she could copy a picture in a magazine or some film star's head. You could almost tell who it was. Oh, Maddie did hope Peggy would win. Hope so. She was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. Then they'd know. Thoughts of Wanda sank further and further from Maddie's mind, and by the time the history lesson had begun, she had forgotten all about her. So we got some foreshadowing. Remember, everyone say the word foreshadowing. Foreshadowing means when we get a little bit of a hint of what's about to come. They tell us we're going to get a contest winner announced, and they said that they all thought that Peggy was the best drawer. So I wonder who's going to be the best drawer if Peggy's not. So now what I need you to do is make sure you have out your novel packet and you're looking at chapter 4's questions. If you need to go and get them, pause the video, get them, and come back and push play. So, look at the list of questions for today. It was a very short chapter, but we still have 8 questions, but I know you guys can do this. So, number 1 says, a good title for chapter 4 could be motorboats, arithmetic, trying to forget, or how to talk to Peggy. Okay, I could see a couple different answers there, so let's see what you all think. Arithmetic is math. It's mathematics, okay? Number 2, which word best describes the way Maddie is feeling? Is she nervous, confident, lightened, or energetic? Fill in the blanks. The 100 Dresses was written in, so I'm going to give you the answers to these, okay? But you need to do the writing part on your own. The 100 Dresses was written in 1944. At this time, so you need to put 1944 in that first blank. At this time, it was appropriate to have a drawing contest in which the girls designed dresses, because remember that's what they're designing, and the boys designed motorboats. So our 3 blanks are 1944, dresses, and motorboats. Okay? This is where you have to fill this in on your own. How could this contest change if it were held in a classroom today? So think of what might be different and what might actually be asked to be done if this was done today. There's very few answers that could be considered wrong here because it's your thoughts, but it needs to make sense and fit the story, okay? Or fit today's logic, okay? Number 4, the author begins chapter 4 with now today to let the reader know it's the next day, the flashback is over, time has passed since the last chapter, or the story is going to flash forward. So be looking at that and thinking. Maddie's biggest concern is for chapter 5. Number 5, what is her biggest concern that's going to happen if she confronts Peggy? That's what this question is asking, okay? Number 6, you're sequencing. There's only 5 sentences this time. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 needs to be put in front of each sentence. Number 7, read this passage from chapter 4. And she remembered another that was brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You'd look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in a pretended admiration. Which type of figurative language does this passage contain? Look at those parentheses. That's where, not parentheses, quotation marks. In those quotation marks is where the figurative language is found, okay? It says like, so be thinking of what that could be. And last, number 8. Wanda is most likely which of the following fairy tale characters? The Little Mermaid, the Ugly Duckling, Goldilocks, or Sleeping Beauty. So remember, the Little Mermaid is wanting to be a human so that she can go out and be on land and be with people. The Ugly Duckling is different than everyone else and is told that they're ugly, but then in the end becomes beautiful. Goldilocks is the one that goes to the bear's house and tries the different beds, the different chairs, the different porridge, and they're finding, oh, this one's too big, this one's too small, this one's just right, this one's too hard, this one's too soft, this one's just right. The porridge, this one's too hot, this one's too cold, this one's just right, okay? And then Sleeping Beauty is the one where she gets sick, she falls asleep, and a prince comes and wakes her up with a kiss. So which one of those stories fits Wanda's story? Explain why you selected the story you did, okay? So that one has 2 parts. Make sure you fill in both. All right, guys, I know you guys can do this. It was a short chapter, so you should be able to find those answers pretty quickly, and a lot of them are your own opinions anyway. So take your time, focus. If you have a question on one of the questions from there, replay this and find it in this section because I explained all of them to you. So I know you guys can do this, and you guys have a great day, and good job on what you guys are getting done.